Welcome to our lesson on multiplying fractions. There are only 3 steps in how to multiply fractions. Multiply your numerators first, multiply your denominators second, and then check your answer to see if the fraction is simplified or reduced. 8/15 times 2/5. If you notice, it was typed in there horizontally, and I had to write it horizontally as well, but I put my 8/15 and 2/5 just for clarity. If you notice, first step says multiply the numerators. We will multiply the numerators of 8 and 2. 8 times 2 is 16. The second step says multiply the denominators. Our denominators are 15 and 5. 15 times 5 is 75. And the last step says remember to simplify or reduce the fraction if needed. 16, so you will look at 16 over 75, those two numbers, and you ask yourself the question, do they have a common factor? And in this case, they don't have a common factor. So your answer is 16 over 75. Now we have 7/12 times 3/8. Our steps are multiply the numerators, then multiply your denominators, and check to see if the fraction needs to be simplified. 7 times 3 is 21. 12 times 8 is 96. 21 and 96, is there a common factor between the two? Looks like it is. So the common factor is 3, which means we need to divide by 3, our numerator and our denominator. 21 divided by 3 and 96 divided by 3. 21 divided by 3 is equal to 7, and 96 divided by 3, I'm going to do the work over here. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. When you subtract, you have 6. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6, so we know it's 32. 7 over 32. Is there a common factor between 7 and 32? And your answer is no. So we have simplified the fraction to 7 over 32, and that is your final answer. Four over 10 times 1 over 8. Multiplying our numerators of 4 times 1, that gives us 4. Multiplying our denominators, 10 and 8. 10 times 8 is 80. Now we need to check between 4 and 80, is there a common factor? And yes, there's a common factor of 4. So we need to divide our numerator and our denominator by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 80 divided by 4 is 20. Is there a common factor of 1 and 20? The common factor is only 1, and whenever you have a common factor of 1, there's no need to simplify it. So our simplified fraction here is 1 over 20. 6 over 7 times 2 over 5. We need to multiply our numerators, multiply our denominators, and check to see if the fraction needs to be simplified. 6 times 2 is 12. 7 times 5 is 35. Now ask yourself the question, is there a common factor between the 12 and the 35? 12, you have 2 and 6 is 12. There's 6 won't go into that. You have 3 and 4. and there are no other factors, none of those factors will go into 35. So that lets you know that is a final answer of 12 over 35. Five over 9 times 2 over 4. Let's multiply our numerators, 5 and 2, and we get 10. Now let's multiply our denominators, 9 and 4. We have 36. Is there a common factor? Let's first of all think of the factors of 10. And when you're calling out those factors, you're asking yourself, is this a factor of 36? So let's start with 1 and 10, 2 and 5. Will 2 go into 36? Yes, it will. So we need to divide by 2 because that is a common factor. 2 goes into 10 and 2 also goes into 36. 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5, and 36 divided by 2 is equal to 18. Now ask yourself the question, is there a common factor between 5 and 18? And the answer is no. If there's not a common factor, then that is your final answer, 5 over 18. 7 over 11 times 6 over 8. Multiply your numerators and multiply your denominators. 7 times 6 is 42. 11 times 8 is 88. 42 over 88. Is there a common factor between 42 and 88? Well, we know 2 goes into both of them, but I'm trying to see if there's a higher number that goes into both of them. We know that 6 times 7 is 42. 6, we have 2 times 21. Let's see, 21 times 4. That will be 1 times 4 is 4, and 2 times 4 is 8. 84, of course, is not 88. So our common factor here is 2, which means we're going to divide our numerator and denominator by 2. 42 divided by 2 is 21. And 88 divided by 2 is 44. Being that these are large numbers, you're constantly asking yourself before you say, this is my final answer, is there a common factor between 21 and 44? Well, we know that 1 times 21 is 21. Let's see, 21 times 2, that will give you 42, which is not 44. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 does not go into 44. 7 does not go into 44. Which means there are no common factors of 21 and 44. And that gives us a final answer of 21 over 44. And that concludes our lesson on multiplying fractions.